And NASA detected a mysterious object speeding toward Earth. Some actual bona fide experts think it might not be your typical space rock or maybe any kind of rock or a natural phenomenon at all.
NASA discovered a mystery object hurtling towards Earth. Some genuine specialists believe it is not your conventional space rock, but rather any type of rock or natural phenomenon at all. It emits 10 pounds of pure nickel each second. As the interstellar object 3I Atlas travels through our solar system, it leaves behind a path of metal that, according to current science, should not exist in that form. This discovery has sent shockwaves throughout the astronomical world. A top Harvard University expert suggests that we are not only looking at a comet, but also at a piece of technology. The object's odd chemical signature and even bizarre route have opened up a universe of horrifying and intriguing new possibilities for who or what exists out there. A warning from Harvard. In the great silent theater of space, a new performer has appeared, and his performance has left scientists stunned. On July 1st, 2025, a survey crew in Chile pointed their telescopes into the sky and saw something remarkable. A small speck of light moving at an astonishing 130,000 miles per hour. This was not just another asteroid or comet in our neighborhood. Its path was completely wrong. It was an interplanetary traveler. It is only the third one that humanity has confirmed. They named it 3I Atlas. At first, it was reason for jubilation, a unique opportunity to study a piece of another star system right in our own backyard. However, as Atlas approached, the euphoria gave way to bewilderment and, for others, alarm. The closer we looked, the less sense it made. The true shock came when astronomers used the Very Large Telescope to examine the light emitted by the object's coma, which is a hazy cloud of gas and dust surrounding it. They were expected to observe the typical suspects: water, dust, and possibly some common metals. What they discovered, however, was something that should have been impossible. The thing was dropping around 10 pounds of nickel every second. Nickel is not unusual in space, but what most people don't realize is that nickel and iron are like cosmic brothers in the universe. They nearly always appear together, created in the heart of the same fading stars. Meteorites that fall to Earth contain both. However, when scientists examined the 3I Atlas data, they discovered that nearly little iron was present. This is where the story abruptly shifts from a nice discovery to a deep, world-altering mystery. A prominent Harvard astrophysicist, known for his daring and frequently contentious opinions, raised the alarm. He emphasized that on Earth, extracting nickel from iron is an industrial process. It demands a lot of energy and technology. Pure nickel deposits are not common, and it is unlikely that a comet would spew them out into space. It was a red flag of cosmic proportion. Could nature do this? The question hung in the air, full with possibility. It was the first indication that 3I Atlas wasn't simply a messenger from another star. It may be a message in a bottle, carefully constructed and transported across the intergalactic ocean. Many individuals believe this is definitive proof of aliens, but the scientific community is naturally wary. They needed additional data. As the James Webb Space Telescope directed its mighty gaze towards the visitor, it discovered another piece of the puzzle, only deepening the mystery. The principal substance of the comet was not water, as is the case with most comets. It was CO2. In fact, it had the highest carbon dioxide to water ratio ever recorded. 8 parts carbon dioxide, 1 part water. Our comets typically include about 4%. This object was essentially distinct from anything else in our solar system. It was built differently, it was behaving differently, and it was shedding inconceivable metals. It was no longer merely a comet. It was a cosmic conundrum, and the following step would be even crazier. A purposeful path? When an object comes racing in from deep space, you expect its course to be simple. A long, elegant curve shaped by the tremendous attraction of our sun. However, not all things are as they seem. As astronomers followed 3I Atlas, they began to notice something strange about its journey. It wasn't simply passing through. It appeared to be on a mission, making a series of accurate flybys that seemed almost deliberate. The Harvard astrophysicist who first expressed concerns about the nickel anomaly re-examined the data. And what he discovered was remarkable. He calculated the chances of a random object from another solar system passing that close to Venus, Mars, and Jupiter in a single visit. The probability was small, 0.005%. To put that into context, you have a higher probability of being hit by lightning several times in your life. It was an extremely unlikely statistical outcome. Could this be a fluke? A 1 in a billion cosmic coincidence? Was there something else going on? You see, the object's path contained another strange trait. Our solar system is largely flat, like a spinning record. With all of the planets orbiting the Sun in the same direction on a level plane, 3I Atlas arrived on the same flat plane, tilted just by 5 degrees. But it was moving backwards. This is referred to as a retrograde orbit, and while not unusual, it is weird. If you wanted to create a probe to gain the best view of our solar system in one go, this is the course you'd take. Moving against the flow of traffic allowed it to capture relatively close-up views of several planets in a short period of time, much to a car traveling slowly down a one-way street in the other direction to get a good look at all the houses. Furthermore, the object's perihelion, or closest approach to the Sun, when it would be at its brightest and most active, was planned to occur on the other side of the Sun from Earth. This made it extremely difficult for us to collect the best observations during its peak activity. It almost seemed like it was attempting to hide something. Perhaps the time was just one of many bizarre coincidences. When you add up all of these abnormalities, the impossible metals, the strange gases, the statistically implausible trajectory, and the retrograde tour of the planets, it becomes increasingly difficult to deny the notion that this is more than just a random rock. It begins to feel purposeful. It begins to feel like a survey. Nobody informs you that the concept of an alien probe is no longer limited to the movies. Serious scientists must now consider it. The alternate hypotheses for what 3I Atlas is and what it does are, in some respects, more bizarre than aliens. The debate has shifted from whether unusual things are happening to what is causing them. Is it an unknown exotic kind of astrophysics that we have yet to discover? Is it the calling card of a much older and more advanced intelligence than ours? And this isn't the first time a mysterious visitor has left us with more questions than solutions. They are not random. To fully comprehend the implications of the 3I Atlas puzzle, we must go back in time to 2017. That's when the first confirmed interstellar object, a strange cigar-shaped anomaly called Oumuamua, passed through our solar system. Oumuamua, which means a messenger from afar arriving first in Hawaiian, was a total shock to the system. It was moving too quickly to have come from our sun's vicinity, and its shape was unlike any other asteroid or comet we had ever observed. The most unusual aspect of Oumuamua was its movement. As it flew away from the sun, it accelerated. It was accelerating, propelled by an unknown force that astronomers could not understand. Comets may accelerate like this because as the sun heats them, they emit jets of gas that function as tiny rocket motors. But here's the catch. Oumuamua had no apparent tail, no coma, and no outgassing whatsoever. So, what pushed it? This is where the same Harvard professor, Avi Loeb, gained international attention. He suggested a startling concept. What if Oumuamua weren't a rock at all? What if it was an artificial thing or a piece of alien technology? He hypothesized that it may be a solar sail, an extremely thin sheet of material designed to be propelled by the pressure of starlight itself. It was a surprising revelation that sparked both excitement and skepticism among the scientific community. For many, it was a step too far. However, the data was definitely unusual, and no one had a completely natural explanation. Oumuamua eventually passed out of reach of our telescopes, leaving the mystery unresolved. Fast forward to present, when 3I Atlas appears. The ghost of Oumuamua has returned in a strange guise. Once again, we have an interstellar object whose features defy simple explanation. A single item could be a fluke, but two starts to resemble a pattern. You see, the universe is staggeringly large. The space between stars is an ocean of nearly perfect emptiness. The fact that two such unusual and distinct objects have visited our solar system in less than a decade is once again statistically astounding. Many people are obsessed with connecting the dots. Could these objects be related? Do they come from the same source? Is one a scout, the other something else? Nobody tells you that, even if they are natural. Their arrival indicates that the galaxy may contain considerably more of this odd substance than we ever anticipated. It pushes us to reassess our assumptions about how other star systems are built. But if they aren't natural, the consequences are enormous. It would imply that someone or something is sending probes into our small portion of the Milky Way. The inquiry has shifted from what these entities are to what power generated them, a cosmic forge or an alien factory. So here we are, confronted with a guest from the stars who defies all the laws. On the one hand, we have a set of anomalies that appear to lead straight to an artificial origin. The pure nickel, the unlikely journey, the odd gases. It resembles a breadcrumb trail left by an advanced intellect. The concept of a message in a bottle is strong. Perhaps another civilization embedded data within the construction of 3Y Atlas, using elemental ratios as a language, knowing it would be a riddle that any spacefaring society would have to solve. It's a message meant to last for eons. Nobody tells you, however, that even extraterrestrial technology beliefs have more complex levels. What if it's not a message, but something far more mundane, or even more incredible? Some believe this could be a piece of cosmic debris, a discarded fuel tank from a much larger interplanetary transport, or a portion of a wrecked extraterrestrial megastructure. That would explain the unusual industrial-grade metals. But what if it is the reverse of trash? What if it is a builder? A von Neumann probe theory envisions a machine that enters a star system, takes raw materials from asteroids to construct copies of itself, and then sends those copies out to other stars. Perhaps the nickel and bizarre gases are just the starting point for this cosmic replication. Then there's an even more profound concept. What if it is a heavenly seeder, an automated biological laboratory intended to spread life? The object's extremely high carbon dioxide content, which differs greatly from that of our comets, could be part of a terraforming or life-starting process aimed to deliver the building blocks of life to promising worlds. It would not be a message for us, but rather for the entire planet. But not everything is as it seems, and science requires that we investigate every natural possibility. The answer is tentative, maybe. It would require the most extreme events the universe has to offer, such as a kilonova, which is the merger of two neutron stars that creates heavy elements and blasts them throughout the galaxy. It's possible that 3I Atlas is a frozen residue of an old cosmic collision. Perhaps it's debris from an asymmetric supernova, a lopsided star explosion that can theoretically separate nickel and iron. The question is, even if these catastrophic events generated this object, what are the chances that a piece of that debris would be dispatched on a flawless route to orbit our solar system? This leads us to the final, more frightening theory. What if the object's sole purpose is to be seen, a cosmic lure or a test? What if its unusual qualities and implausible trajectory are intended to pique our interest, to see whether anyone is home and if we are intelligent enough to notice? It would not be a survey, but rather a test to observe how we respond. When you look at it that way, the alien explanation begins to sound less absurd. Does all of this happen overnight? Are we overlooking an important detail? Perhaps the simplest explanation, as bizarre as it sounds, is the correct one. This is the crux of the dispute, and it will continue on for years. So, is 3I Atlas a cosmic coincidence? Or is it a deliberate calling card from a higher intelligence than our own? What do you believe is hiding in the darkness between the stars? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for future cosmic riddles.